today because we're addressing the issues of poverty and homelessness that are caused by a cabal of people in this society who profit off of people's misery. And the tide of prosperity lifts every boat. They say as you fall down and drown in their moat, it's a game of roulette that you'll lose every time. This economy's nothing but organized crime.
In this wealthy nation, we should be ashamed that we're still talking about poverty. Some people have more money than they could spend in 8 lifetimes, and the next person has nothing. That's a disgusting shame.
Since the wake of the June 1st, 2011 tornado, the property on History Street has not been repaired, sitting dormant and deteriorating because our management company, Association Properties Group, the City of Springfield, and other parties have focused their attention on assisting Springfield College to purchase the property instead of making needed repairs so families can return to their homes.
I'm currently in a hotel shelter placement. I've been for about a year now with my 1-year-old son. Actually, when I came for a shelter placement, DTA actually turned me away. 9 months pregnant, I was sleeping out of my car. I mean, they kind of just look down at us like we're nothing, like we're trash. They speak to us as we're those people. We're not those people. We're human and we have rights and we all need to speak out.
I'm here today to talk about what's going on in Holyoke. As some of you know, the Holyoke Housing Authority is moving to demolish Lyman Terrace housing projects. It's 167 units of low-income housing. All the land where our houses formerly sat will be sold to private investors. Guess whose money they want to use to demolish our housing to sell it to private investors? Our tax money. That's why we all need to fight together, and we need to tell people we're not going to stand for gentrification facilitated by the destruction of housing. We're not going to stand for displacement, and we need more affordable housing, not less. Thank you.
I haven't had a place to call my own since the day that I was born. I have no place to stay, no one to love, nothing to give. And if I can't make it for myself, I beg for shelter for my kids. What shelter? All that I have is the sun. All that I trust is the breeze. Since this life has begun, so shelter's a tease. All that I have is the birds breathing, living, flying, chirping. The clothes that I wear are all I own. I'm outside stone with an inside scar. And yes, my heart is bleeding while I'm hurting. I'm cold and awoke inside of the glistening night. As a child rides by on a bike, and this beauty and this sight is my only delight.
How many of you today are from Springfield? So Springfield taxpayers, together, just for 1 year, just for the U.S. war in Afghanistan, will pay $42 million in federal income tax. That's just for the U.S. war in Afghanistan. For that same amount of money, Springfield tax dollars could have been used to pay the fair market rent for 3,000 apartments in this city.
Everybody, every single person has a right to have a house, not to worry about what I'm sleeping here today, where am I going to be sleeping tomorrow? That's the basic thing. That's the regular basic thing. Housing and food. We need that. That's basic.
Time to form a nation, end all racism, cause it still exists. Ku Klux Klan, Confederate flags, it's no secret. Believe it, I see it. I'm just a young brother revealing it through my music, cause that's what it's about. Education is the route.
In order for me to survive in the streets of Holyoke, I had to join the United States Army. I spent 10 years in the United States Army. My last tour of duty was Desert Storm. I was a combat medic. Today I'm just going to speak about what I can speak about and what I know. First of all, I'll speak with the native tongue, and that is, I won't say it in native because nobody will understand what I'm saying.
Say it in English.
I'll say it in English. Do not criticize anybody until you walked a mile in their moccasins. You don't know how they feel till you walked a mile in their moccasins.
Right.
If a rich man's never been poor, he can't criticize a poor man.
Do not waste time on social questions. What's the matter with the poor is poverty. What's the matter with the rich is uselessness. George Bernard Shaw. And on that same vein, less than 10.5% of the people in Springfield make more than $100,000 a year. We're a poor city. And we can't afford to let them continue to take advantage of us.
So, well, I've been away from Springfield after having run Open Pantry for 20 years. So I probably shouldn't say much about Springfield, but standing in the shadow of the steeple of the Old First Church, where we used to provide enough groceries for over 27,500 people a year, and then to see that church now stands idle, owned by the government, rented to a church congregation, but basically stripped of its day when it was a social service center for people who were homeless and people who were poor.
We want the city and all resources to hear what we have to say, because this situation should not be going on. All the resources that are out there, the civic organizations, the community base, the grassroots, and mainly the people, all need to get together with city government. We need to do something about the situation at hand. With the recent tornado, earthquake, and snowstorm, and now we got PVGA, things aren't looking good, but you all can do something about this.
And if there's anyone else that is like me that lives in a home in Section 8, then this is going to happen. This is going to happen to a lot of families. Over 500,000 families are going to be put into the street, and we'll have more homeless. Where are we going to go? Why are they taking away all the affordable housing that we have, tearing it down?
I want to talk about Springfield just for a minute, because I recently found out that the city has no intention of replacing the housing that was lost in the tornado. They're not going to look for developers to do it. They think we have enough housing for poor people, and if people don't like it here, then we can just relocate. Well, this is my city. I'm not going anywhere, and no one should have to leave here because the mayor doesn't think there's room for us. So we are going to deliver a letter to the mayor. There are things he can do. There was a foreclosure ordinance that was passed last summer. The city hasn't put it into place yet. The city gets property all the time for tax title, and they auction it off to the highest bidder. They never think about how can we use this housing for poor people. So we're going to remind the mayor of what needs to be done.
If you're poor and cold and homeless, they will come. If you're poor and cold and homeless, they will come. They will kick you off the sidewalk and say you're bad for business. They will kick you off the sidewalk when they come. Yeah. So it's time to build a movement for us all. Oh, it's time to build a movement for us all. For us all. And we'll help the poor and needy, and not the poor greedy. Oh, it's time to build a movement for us all.
Is Mayor Sarno available? Nope. He's not available? Hello. Well, we have a letter. From Mayor Sarno. We could make sure that he gets it. Absolutely. And we'd like a housing task force. A housing task force? So we can really have a housing plan in this city.
Is that who's in the letter?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And we asked him to let us know in 2 weeks.
Chaos are rising. More folks are now unemployed. Whatever happened to the land of the free we enjoy? It's time for the Grannies to rise up and now take a stand. We're ready to bail out the people, and we'll shout out, yes, we
2 weeks for an answer to our letter. Basically, we have asked the mayor to create a housing task force that is at least 50% low and moderate income renters and homeowners.
Here I go, bound for freedom. Let my truth take the lead. Not the preacher, not the Congress, not the millionaire, but me. I will organize for justice. I will raise my voice in song, and our children will be free to lead the world and carry on.